morning, everybody. My name is Carla, and you've reached my FlossTube channel, Carla Being Crafty, where I talk about mostly cross stitch, but other crafts that I enjoy, and a little bit of life thrown in. This is Bagheera, or Baggy, my big black cat, who was walking around by my feet when I was getting ready to start the video, so I figured I'd start out with him, and then he can go take a nap. So if this is your first time finding my channel, I want to say welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you like what you see, want to hit like and subscribe and all of that good stuff. And if you are one of my returning viewers, thank you so much for coming by and sharing the day with me. I look forward to reading your messages and seeing, how many people have watched the video, and it's a highlight of my week. I say that all the time. If you really like what you see, want to give a little bit of monetary support, which of course is not necessary, but people do occasionally like to do that. I do have a super thanks button below. You can do it that way. You could send me something through PayPal. All my information is below, and that always is appreciated, and such a lovely sentiment or gift, when somebody chooses to do that. So thank you in advance if you do choose to do that. If not, then just sit back, enjoy the video, comment. That's a gift to me too, all those comments, and let's get started. So I always give my Southern California weather report. I don't know why or how that started, but it did, and I've been doing it, and I think a lot of you like it. So weather has been, I don't know, I weird, I think. We're still like having kind of rain towards the end of the week or on the weekend. The temperature is supposed to go up a bit next week, although when I was looking like on Monday, I just look at the weather report on my phone. It's not like, I'm immersed in the weather channel or anything. But when I was looking at the weather report on my phone on Monday, it was saying that it was going to go up to like 95 at the end of this week. However, that has now toned down to where now it's saying like 87. So the weather is supposed to go up, but then again, we have more rain possibly coming in next Saturday or Sunday. So I don't know. The weather is just kind of being weird. And to be honest, it is killing my joints. So I don't know if anybody else experiences this. I'm assuming, if you have any kind of osteoarthritis, like I do, that when the weather is jumping around from hot to cold, you end up having kind of sore hips and sore hands. I've been having some hand issues. Nothing like, it's just, the joys of getting older kind of thing. And I work through it with cross stitch and crochet, and so nothing too weird, just a little bit weird, if that makes any sense. I always have knee pain. I have very bad knees and back, but my hips and just everything has been a little bit more achy because I think the weather is bouncing around. Anyway, I looked at the calendar to schedule a Zoom for April, and I am going to suggest that we do it on April 28th, which is a Sunday at 3 o'clock. I was thinking we could do it next weekend, but honestly, if I don't give at least some notice, I tend to have nobody there. And then the following weekend is right before kind of a busy week. We've got Passover, and I have doctor's appointments and all that kind of stuff, and I just I think I don't want to add something to that weekend. So let's do it on the 28th, April the 28th. I will put it in the description box below. I've set my Zoom for like a recurring meeting, so that means that we don't have to change the password and stuff like that. We just need to know the date. So let's do it on Sunday, April 28th at 3 p.m. And I look forward to seeing you guys there. So, maybe let me know if anybody would be interested in if I set up like an evening Zoom for a couple hours. So probably starting 7 or 8 my time, you know, on an evening on a Wednesday or a Thursday or something like that. If anybody would be wanting to join. Now, again, it's Pacific time, so it's going to be later for you guys. If you're further east, it obviously would be like a shorter Zoom for an hour or two. That is something that I could possibly schedule 1 or 2 times a month, as well as like a weekend Zoom. But I kind of want to know if there's any interest in that. I know there's some people that just couldn't because it's just too late and whatever. So let me know if that'd be something you'd be interested in. Maybe we can add that. Okay. I think that that's about it for my preamble. My videos the last like several weeks have been shorter, which I guess is good. I guess we'll get to a point where they get long again, depending on how much stuff I have to jibber jabber about. But for right now, like, work is just kind of normal and slow-ish. I mean, it's the beginning of the quarter, so I'm doing a lot of downloading, and we put out a consolidated statement every quarter, so that means a lot of downloading and printing and putting a lot of stuff together to get those reports out by the end of the month. But yeah, there's just not a lot going on to talk about. I always get a lot of comments on my videos about my nails, because I am a press-on or glue-on nail user, and I have a ton of sets, and you know, I really like having pretty hands. I've said this before, it's a little weird. When I look at my hands, I see my mom. I don't see my mom looking in the mirror at my face. I see my mom looking at my hands. I don't know why that is, but I feel like I have my mom's hands. And I do really like having my hands kind of look nice, especially when I'm doing my videos. But I have noticed the last month or so, I'm having trouble, like the glue just doesn't want to stick as well. And I feel like I need to give my nails a rest. My nails have never really gotten damaged from doing press-on glue-on nails because I have very oily nail beds. I've said this before, it's the reason why getting my nails professionally done was always really expensive, because I always, like, my stuff would always lift, and I'm a picker. So yeah, so I mean, my nails kind of heal themselves, but I just have noticed that the glue lately has just not been sticking well, and so I feel like it's a mess, and I just wanted to give my nails some time off. I kind of did that anyway. Like, I would take nails off and leave them off for several days and then put them on right before my video, and then go, you know, for 5 or 6 days and then take them off and give a rest, whatever. But so I've decided to, for at least the next several weeks, just use like nail stickers kind of thing. So I got, these are cheap ones from Amazon. I ordered a few of a more popular brand, and you know, I put these on Friday night. They seem to be okay. You know, so that's natural growth on my nails. So I figured, well, maybe I can grow my nails out a little bit, and then I can still use the press-ons later. But we'll see what happens. I have a ton, so it's not like I can't go back, but I wanted something on my nails to protect whatever growth I had at the same time, while not using press-ons for a little bit of time. And I still want my hands to look decent. So anyway, also it's a good time to not have acrylic or plastic or whatever nails on, because I am having to do a lot of downloading, so my typing is definitely faster when I have shorter nails. So anyway, that is what's going on with my hands, and you know, I think it looks okay. I mean, this hand is definitely better because my nails are longer than this hand, but yeah, they're okay. So I'll let you know if I have any significant find anything significantly wonderful or awful. Okay, so let's get into what did I work on this week? Again, I've still been kind of having I haven't lost my crafty bug. I I just am not quite as enthusiastic, which tends to mean that I don't come on here and show you 10 projects. I come on and show you 4 projects. I mean, that's just kind of how it's been. There have been a couple nights where I just didn't feel like doing anything. I've also started playing D&D with my brother, and because it's just us and, we don't have to account for any kids' schedules, we're doing it in the evenings, like one day, like every other week. So that is taking up one evening. It took up one evening this week, which I'm totally enjoying. So anyway, all that to say, I have a crochet project to show you, and I worked on four stitching projects this week. So I did, we're in a new month. So Monday I was able to download March's temperatures for my temperature blanket, and I am almost finished. I think I have 2 more. So I think I'm on the 29th, which is this purple color, which is temperature 3, so between 60 and 64. I have 2 more colors, which actually the end of the month last month got cold, so it's gonna go down to the 2 darker purples. And then 1 row of gray, and then I can attach it. But this is my March. I haven't woven any of the little ends yet. Very different looking than the other 2. So just as a refresh, this was January. And you can see January actually was quite a bit warmer than March. March is probably overall I don't know, chillier and then this was February. This darker purple is the really colder color, so it was cold, this is California cold, Southern California cold, at the beginning of February, but then, you've got this green here, which has gotten us to warmer weather. But then in March, we haven't had any of the, this is all over 60 until we get to the last 2 days. So yeah, again, I'm totally enjoying doing this. I really love the way it looks. I love the way it feels. I feel like as I'm going along, I'm getting better at doing the stitch. One change I did make, I had done that kind of twisted fringe and didn't really like it. I want to do kind of a rainbow edging for the blanket. But the twisted fringe, it's just I'm not good at enough to make it precise. And so I'm having shorter ones and longer ones. And I just didn't like the way it was looking. I just wasn't. So I went online yesterday on YouTube, and I searched for a couple different trim things, and I was trying to find something that I could do that I could still do in the rainbow. And I think I found something that I think will work. That seems pretty easy, and it's going to be hard to see because I just kind of did this as a sample. So basically you're doing like a chain stitch loop, and the person who on the video did it with just 2 colors, so they were just alternating, and it ends up looking like a twisted sort of border. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do each color with 10 loops, but then offset by 5, if that makes any sense. So I'll have my color number 1, 10 loops, and then color number 2 will start over 5. So this section will be 1 and 2, and then 3 will start here. So this section will be 2 and 3. I don't know if that's making any sense, but I'm probably going to work on that a little bit today. So I'll be able to show you next week. If I don't like it, I will pull it out again and figure out a different trim. There's a lot of like edging that I saw that I like the way it looks. It looks cute as far as like an edging of a blanket, but because I want it to be this rainbow, I'm trying to find something that I can start and stop the colors without it looking not good. And that was one problem that I had with the fringes. Like I had these extra bits and I was just cutting them off at the same length, but I just didn't like the way it looked. I guess if I get to where I can't find anything, I can always just make like a fringe that you tie. But anyway, that's where I'm at with that. Again, this square, this bright color here, it's color number 5. So that would be, is that 70 to 74? Yeah, I guess it's 70 to 74. So, so March had, you know, kind of, the main weather was between 65 and 74. And then this darker purple, or the purpley lavendery color is cooler. So anyway, there's only three temperature ranges so far in this whole square, except for the last 2 days when it got colder. So that's interesting. And then I don't know, April's going to be all over the place, I think, because again, we've had colder days with rain, and then the temperature's supposed to go up. So it will be interesting to see what April's square looks like. I like how each square is different. I think that's kind of cool. Okay, so that was my crochet that I worked on this week. And then I had 2 whips that I worked on and 2 new starts. So I think I'll show you the whips first and save the new starts. It's funny because the 2 whips I worked on are both kind of space themed. And I was working on them while I was watching Star Wars. Why? I don't know. I just got in my head that I wanted to watch Star Wars again. So I watched, you know, the original 3, and then I started watching the newer 3, and then I haven't watched like the newer ones yet, so I probably should, although I did watch The Mandalorian. Anyway, I worked on my mini solar system. This is adaptive artwork by Adrian Chesterman and charted by Argosy. And this is a full coverage on, I think I'm doing this one on 22 count. Full cross, 2/1. And didn't get a ton done, but I finished, well, it's not totally finished because there's just a little edge there still of that little blue planet, but and I just think this is so pretty. I mean, it really, I think it's gorgeous. So I'm excited to get into more other things. I mean, this whole rest of this row is going to be more in the sun. And so I don't know. It's going to take a little bit of time, but I think I may be hitting the edge of this little one soon. Because we're going this way. So I think 2 more diagonals, and then I'm going to be in, like, really in the thick of it. Okay, and then I worked on my Star Trek piece for my brother while I was watching Star Wars. So I texted him, I said, is that weird? Is that sacrilegious? Is that okay? And he's like, there's a lot of overlap in the Venn diagram of fandom, which tells you a lot about my brother, that would be his reaction. So for those of you that haven't heard this before, when I decided to do this Star Trek piece for my brother, I liked these little, like, people. I mean, there's a lot of different Etsy providers who have different little peoples. I mean, they're all similar, but they all have slightly different ones. So what I wanted to do was do the four Star Trek casts. I never watched Enterprise, so for me, Star Trek is the original series, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager. That's the four. And so I went and I got the little charts for each from the same company. This is a Fangirl Stitches on Etsy. And they all said like Star Trek and then the name, but instead I put Star Trek at the top. I charted the original series from letters from all the other ones, and then I'm just putting the name of the show underneath. And I'm in the middle of Next Generation. The other slight change that I made, well, I made a few like minor little changes. So, I'm just using DMC. This is a Aida from Under the Sea Fabrics. It's called Looking Glass, and it is an opal. The way that these were charted, they had I didn't like the way the eyes looked, because the eyes, I don't know, they like were touching the hair. I just thought they looked really weird. So I was thinking of doing French knots for the eyes, and I tried that and I hated it. My little people all look demented because my French knots were like different sizes, and it just made them look weird. So I went ahead and did beads, and I like that I can maybe change the color of the beads depending on the character. So Dr. McCoy has blue eyes, and the other characters have brown, you know. And then I'm using an étoile, a silver étoile for the comm badges. I think on most of them, because I think they all have silver comm badges. And then for the first season, they had their officers' stripes and stuff on the wrists. So I did that with a gold étoile. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, or if I'm going to do anything on the following ones, because they have the little pips on their collars, and it's not a lot of room. So I don't, unless I can get super tiny beads, which I'll have to see if I have them. I'm not going to purchase them. If I can get super tiny beads, I might be able to do the pips with beads, but I don't know. I might have to just leave them off, or maybe I can do just like a little tiny stitch with, there would be two different colors because they would have a black, and so maybe I could do like a little Krynic or something, like a little black stitch and a little gold stitch. I don't know. But anyway, when I started, I was only up to here, so I did all of like the black sections, and then the faces for these three guys, and then this is Troy. So, and then of course Voyager and Deep Space Nine are even bigger groups of people. So I've been working on this for a long time, but I just pull it out, you know, a couple times a year. There's no rush. My brother's not in any hurry. I did do a piece for him and his family very early, my first year of stitching. So, okay. So those were the two whips that I worked on. And then I had two new starts. So the first one is from this cross stitch, spring cross stitch magazine. And this is kind of a stitch along. But I'll be honest, I'm really, really, really bad about posting anything on Instagram. I mean, I do post occasionally, but I'm really bad about like stitch along posting and that kind of thing. So, but this, okay, so I think the original people that were talking about doing this is called Current Mood. Although I think a lot of people in their heads it's April showers. But the thing that I think is kind of cool about it is like everybody that I've heard talk about it or post about it, they're all doing it differently. Like nobody's doing it the way it's charted. Everybody's kind of putting their own spin, which I think is kind of cool. So I first heard Laura Stitching at the Shore was talking about it, that she and Devi Sisk, who is Glitter Dove Fairy on Instagram, kind of decided, hey, let's stitch this. And then they were talking about it. And then a newer floss tuber who it's a mother and daughter, I think called Lost Our Needles, I think it's Lost Our Needle. Anyway, the daughter, what did I say? Her name is Allie, but I'm not sure. She's doing this and she's like completely changing it to where she's using a very dark fabric and she's making the color, she's doing the rain, I think in like a silver sparkly kind of thing. And then the silhouette part is where she's doing all the color. I'm not sure. Laura is doing it in very like primary colors because it reminds her of like an art project she did with her kids like 10 years ago with like melted crayon dripping, and she's doing so primary rainbow, like exact rainbow. Devi is doing it, I believe, on a 20 count, and she's using Sulky. I'm also using Sulky. I'm doing it on a 22 count, and but I'm using Sulky Blendables. So I just picked, I think there's 6 colors that are charted. It's charted with Valdani Silks, which do have a variegation, so I decided to do it with the Blendables. And I just chose, I want to say comparable colors, but I don't know how comparable they are because I chose, you know, kind of like what I had. So I'm using these 6 Blendables for my rain, and then I'm just using a solid black and a very light gray for the silhouette. So I started, and because I'm doing it on 22 count, it's going to be pretty small. This is a piece of Hardinger hand-dyed by Rolanda. Not opal, which is kind of funny because here I'm doing a rain project where opal would be perfect and I'm not doing it. So I just got three of the rows in. This sort of cream colored row at the beginning is actually just to mark off the every 10 spaces so that it just gives me a visual counting guide, and then I'll just pull that out after. So hopefully you can kind of see the variegation coming in. So, and I mean, that's as tall as it's going to be. So I think it's going to only be like that big, which I think will be fun. This needle minder I got from Amy Sprinklestein Stitches. A couple years ago, we did a stitch along of Cats in the Rain, which is actually behind me right there. And so she gave me a Cats in the Rain sort of needle minder. And I figured, oh, I'm doing another rain project. That's perfect to put it on. Oops. And last but not least, I had another new start. I started my bird for my friend Tracy for this year. So what I am doing is okay. So my friend Tracy, she moved to Pittsburgh. She and her partner bought a house in Pittsburgh right as I started my FlosTube channel. So basically her house in Pittsburgh and my FlosTube channel are like the same age. And she has really enjoyed like the gardening aspect of living there and the nature in her backyard kind of thing. They're very into the chipmunks and the birds and the flowers and the native plants to that area, etc. So a couple years ago, I did a project for her, some chickadees by Crosswind Collection, and really I just did the birds because I liked them and I wanted to do something for her. And then part of what she really liked about them is like, oh, these chickadees are a type of bird that I can see in my backyard. And that kind of led to me kind of making a bird for her, a bird pattern every year, but trying to find a bird that actually is native to Pittsburgh that she could see at her bird feeder every year, etc. So that's kind of, it may get more challenging as time goes on because it's not that there's not that many birds, but it's I have to find the right bird for her area, right? So anyway, this year, so I did the chickadees the first year, and then I did a blue jay, and then I did a cardinal last year. So this year, I had got this Crosswind Collection number 4, which is Feathered Gems. They're all hummingbirds, but I think there's only 2 that are native to Pittsburgh. One that is more prominent or whatever, and that is the red-throated hummingbird. So I'm doing the red-throated hummingbirds, but I'm doing a different, so these are the red-throated hummingbirds. That's the male and that's the female. So those are the birds I'm doing, but I'm not doing this really big floral bit in the middle. I'm doing this one, because those flowers, the shape of those flowers look kind of like the honeysuckle that grows in her backyard, except that she sent me pictures of the honeysuckle. She actually sent me a really cool picture of the honeysuckle with an actual hummingbird. And I'm trying to just kind of like emulate the colors. So they're not exactly like the flowers in her backyard, and they're not going to be the exact color, but it's going to be similar. That was a long explanation. But anyway, I did have to adjust the flower bit a little bit because I wanted to put the female on as well. So I just kind of added sort of a branchy bit, I guess. Okay. So, and then the other thing is that I got, when I first started stitching, I got a lot of fabrics and stuff off of eBay. And when I first started in 2019, actually, there was a lot of stuff you could get, like old new stock, or is that what they call it? Old new stock. Anyway, I got 6 packages, 2 of each color, of these True Colors backgrounds. True Colors International, and called backgrounds. So they're sort of like, you know, printed model-y fabric. And I got 2 packages each of a pink, a light blue, and a tan. So kind of modeled. And I've done 3 birds so far. One I did on pink, one I did on blue, one I did on tan. So I'm just kind of mixing them up. For this bird, these birds, the blue looked best, I felt. So anyway, I got the start. I did not expect to finish the Lady Hummingbird in one sitting, but she went really fast and I was like so excited to get her finished. So she's done. So then we're gonna have a big clump of flowers, and then her partner will be over here. So anyway, so that is a female red-throated hummingbird. There's the colors. Looking like a mess. So, yeah. So the flowers are going to be kind of this dark and lighter pink, and then there's going to be a sort of cream peachy section to some of them as well. So that was all my whips for the week. And plans. I don't have any, new anything, no haul. Actually, that's not true. I got a package of needles. Very exciting. I got a package of a size 28 gold eye needles from Amazon. I have ordered these before. Ooh, let me see if I can reach it. Yeah, I've ordered these before in both 26 and 28, and actually I find them to be very good needles. I used to really like the Pat Carson, Pat's favorite needle. I found them very easy to thread, which is, what I'm looking for in a needle, right? And they aren't being made anymore. Plus, they're kind of expensive. And honestly, I could get a package of 100 needles from Amazon for $10. I got one of the size 26 and one of the size 28. And one of the reasons I like having lots of needles is when I do full coverage, I thread all my needles and I keep them on. So there's times when I am using 30 needles at a time. I've been stitching since 2019 and I have only broken one needle, maybe two. I think I've had two needles where the eye got kind of split. Yeah, I've had two needles like that, but as far as actually breaking a needle, I've only had that happen one time. But, I have a lot of needles, so, I know there's people that they have one needle and they just use that needle over and over and over again. So I'm not like that. But anyway, I wanted the size 28 because I've started working my full coverages on smaller count fabric, and it's funny when you're used to working with the size 28 on a project and then you pull out a 26, it feels like you're stitching with a toothpick. I mean, it feels so huge. It's funny because they can stitch on another project and I'm using a 24 because it's like 14 count 8 or whatever, and it feels fine. But when I'm stitching on a full coverage like that, and I'm using the smaller needles, having a bigger one just feels wrong. So anyway, that was my big haul, is I got a package of needles this week. Other than that, plans to continue working on my April friends and family projects. I'm probably going to finish my March crochet square today because there's only 3 more rows I need to do, and then I'll probably attach it. I might work on starting the trim, but I don't know. But I have all month before I can do next square. So, and then I really kind of want to start another Mill Hill. I have some little ones, but I kind of want to do a bigger one, and I have 3 to choose from. So this is what I have to decide. So this is kind of a set. When I first started stitching, the first thing I did for my friend Tracy was I did a set of Mill Hills, and she and her partner really like wine, and there's a red wine and a white wine Mill Hill, and I did those 2. But while I was choosing, I got those 2 as a set, and then I got these 2 as a set, and I let her choose which one you wanted, and she picked the wine. And I was like, okay, because I really like these for myself. So it's the balsamic vinegar and extra virgin olive oil. I thought this would be fun, and maybe put them, on the cabinet door in my kitchen or something. Oh no. Okay, the bottom was opened. And I just lost all of my beads and my... Okay. Gotta pick those up. Okay, So we got extra virgin olive oil and balsamic vinegar. So that's one choice that I could start, which is, I guess, actually starting 2. I mean, I would only do one at a time, but I'd put them in the bag together and do them one after the other. Or the other choice, the buttons and beads that I have that I could start, is this one, which, how cute is that? I also have, actually I have a Halloween one. I have one does something. But I don't know. So that's a decision I have to make, because I kind of feel like I want to do a set. I'm thinking maybe I'll do the balsamic vinegar, and then I'll save this, and I can maybe do it in August when I start Black Cat stuff anyway. I don't know. Because I'm feeling like we're going into spring and summer, and this feels very fall to me. Well, it is very fall. And so maybe not this one right now. But anyway, so that's kind of what I need to decide. Again, no rush on doing that, but I like doing the Mill Hills, and so I wouldn't mind having another one on the go. And that's about it. That's plans for the week. This coming week is going to be kind of more of the same stuff at work. I think I have another game scheduled with my brother Tuesday, I think. And then we'll probably have a break, because I know they have a big trip to Florida planned, because Reagan is in the championships, cheer championships in Florida. So there'll probably be several weeks where we won't get together. So yeah, hopefully it will not get too hot during the day, and it won't be too hot at night, because then it's kind of difficult to sleep. That's when I start pulling out my my ice pack to use as a teddy bear. And yeah, I mean, that's basically it. So I hope that you guys are having a wonderful stitchy week, stitchy weekend. Take lots of time for yourself and relax and do all the stuff. I love hearing from you. Let me know. Let me know your thoughts on Mill Hills. Have you tried them? I love doing Mill Hill kits. I really do. I like having the different media. I mean, you can tell just by like what I stitch. I've got stuff that's stitched on 14 count Aida. I've got stuff that's being stitched on 22 count Hardanger. I've got perforated paper. I stitch with silk. I stitch with Silky. I stitch with DMC. I stitch with variegated. So I like having that variety of media and fibers and stuff. So yeah, I find that all pretty exciting. So again, I hope you have a wonderful week coming up, and until I see you again, please remember to be content, be kind, and be crafty. This is Carla. Bye-bye.